Subscribe for my channel Amol and hit the bell icon for latest update.
Hey, welcome guys. Today we are going to discuss about classes and constructor. So my name is Amol and you're watching me on my YouTube channel. I'm the author of the book Practical Approach of Software Testing, which is available on Amazon India, International and Kindle. So what is class? Class contains data members and member functions. So data members means some variables. We can define some variables like integer, character, double, string, or some other objects as well. So class is a collection of data members and member functions. So we can write different functions as well as different data members inside the class. So I'll show you how do we do that. Class my class example. Then start and end. Okay. So remember that you should start the name of a class with capital letter, right? And then you should use camel case. So I'm writing a note for you. Write class name starting with capital letter and use camel case. So what is camel case? Camel case means if your class name is having multiple words, so you should start the first letter of next word capital, right? So this is how the camel case is. So you should write the class name starting with capital letter and you should use camel case. There won't be error if you use small letter, if you start the class name with small letter, but these are the conventions that you should start the class name with capital letter. And another important thing, it should be meaningful. The name should be meaningful. So we'll practice this from beginning itself. In order to make your code readable, we should have meaningful name. No matter if it is quite long, but it should be meaningful. Fine. So these 3 points you should remember, that you should give a meaningful name to a class, then you should write a class name starting with capital letter and you should use camel case. Okay, so I'll put some data members. Int a, let's say double d, then char c, then let's say string str. Okay, so these are the data members. Fine. Then member function. So you can write any function like void my member function System.out.println and just simply printing a word my member function. Okay, so here you might have observed that I have again used a camel case while writing the name of the function, right? But I have started it with small letter. So for variables, objects or member function, you should start the name with small letter. So this is again a convention. If you don't use this convention, you are not at all going to get any errors, but since these are the industry standards, you should follow those. Okay, so this is how a class is. I'll write one more function, let's say void display. Okay, so I'll display all the values of data members. System.out.println a is equal to plus a. Okay, so this is what a class is. Now you will ask where and how these data members are to be accessed or called. You can call them anywhere with some instructions. So if you are trying to access these data members into the own function of this class, right? So there are two functions of this class, my member function and display, right? So these functions, actually in Java we call it as a method. So in these two methods you can access these data members directly. See here I have taken the data member abcstr directly, and I can call display function here directly. Let's say display, there is no issue. But in case if you want to access these data members in other functions in other class, in main function, even though if it is inside this class, you cannot access these data members directly. You have to create an object of the class, and then using that object, using dot operator, you can access those. Fine. So let's implement this in, I'll show you its output. So let's create a class, Java class. I'll use the same name. Okay. So let's copy the code. Public class, my class example. These are the data members. Then these are the member functions. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll write another class here. Let's say class, another class, and I'll write a method inside it. Let's say void my class, void another class method. Okay. So let's see. I have directly accessed these data members inside the member functions of the same class. So can I access these data members outside the class? Let's see. Display. It is giving me red line, or a is equal to 10. Again it is giving me red line. If I try to print a, it is giving me red line. So it says cannot resolve symbol a, cannot resolve symbol a, and display method is also not able to, I'm not able to access those. So in short, I cannot access the data members and member functions outside the class, not even in the main method, even though if it is inside the same class. Let's say public static void main string args. So I'll try to write the same things in main method, and let's see what happens. This is another issue. Actually the reason is different. It is actually due to the keyword static. So since these data members are not static, so non-static members cannot access inside the static method. So this is a static method. I have a complete video on static, the keyword static. You can watch that. I'll give you the link in the description. If you have used static keywords inside any function or any method, so the data members that you are trying to access must be static. So you watch that video, you will get more idea about the static keywords. So in short, so here also I am not able to access the data members of this class. So what I need to do, I need to create an object of this class. How to create an object of a class? Like this. Write a class name, my class example, take any variable, let's say ob, it will be an object, is equal to write new keyword, my class example. Okay. So using this object ob and dot operator, you can access the method display like this, ob dot display. Here also ob dot display, ob dot a, ob dot a, right? So you can comfortably access the data members of this class now, right? So similarly I can create an object here. So don't get confused, I have created the same name, I have used the same names. Its scope is different. This ob has a different scope and this ob has a different scope, right? So inside this block it has restricted scope, and so for this object we have restricted scope for this block only. Okay, so using this ob I can now access the display method ob.a and ob.a. See, so now the error has gone. In case if you want to access the data members outside the class, then you have to create the object. However, you can access those directly into their member functions. So now let's see what happens when you write my class example ob is equal to new my class example. Means in short, you have created an object, and here you have used a keyword new. Always remember that in Java, new keyword is used for allocating a memory. So what happens exactly when you write this line? Fine. Let's consider this is a class, and I have defined few data members like int a, char c, double d, string str, and we have some member functions. We call properties and behaviors also for member function. We can use these words. So when I say abc ob is equal to new abc, means I have created an object of this class. So using this new operator, a memory is created for this class, right? So whatever size those respective data members have in Java, for example, let's say integer has 4 bytes. So accordingly, all the data members will get a size, and in a continuous memory block, a memory will be reserved. So just observe here, I have used a word followed by parenthesis, right? So everywhere a word followed by parenthesis, a word followed by parenthesis, and a word followed by parenthesis is actually a function, right? It is actually a function. So what it is? So is it a function, right? Yes, it is a kind of a function, and we call it as constructor, right? So we call it as constructor. What is constructor? It is used to initialize the object. It has same name as that of class name, and it is a function with no return type. It means that initialization means putting some value, right? Prior to execution means I'm not only creating an object, but also my object is got initialized, means all these data members has got some initial value. Just observe, this is our class, right? Fine. So what I'll do, I'll simply give this code created an object and displayed it. So I'll run this program. Okay, so observe the output carefully. A is equal to 0, D is equal to 0.0, C is blank, str is equal to null, right? So it means that these data members are initialized to some specific values like 0, 0.0, blank, and null. So as I said, initialization is the work of constructor, and constructor is a method having the same name as that of class name with no return type, right? So now observe carefully, you have the class in front of you, and tell me, are you able to see constructor anywhere? This is the code, and is there any constructor? What is constructor? Constructor having the same name as that of a class name. It is a function with no return type. So ideally it should be like this: my class example, and there must be some body inside it. So a function with no return type, and the method name same as that of class name. So are you able to see this constructor inside this class? The answer is no, obviously no, right? So we have not at all written a constructor inside a class, but still in the output you can see there are certain values like 0, 0, 0, 0.0, blank, and null. Then who said this? Fine. So always remember that when we don't write a constructor in a class, then a default constructor is called, right? So remember this. what I'll do, I'll write this constructor. Okay, so I have written a constructor and I'm not writing any body into it. So I'll run this program. The output is actually the same as that in case of default constructor. So this is called as empty constructor. Let me initialize these data members with some values. So I'll try to put some values like a is equal to 10, b is equal to we don't have d is equal to 10.3, c is equal to some character, str is equal to some string. Okay, so this is a normal constructor. Fine. So see the output. See, whatever we have assigned, whatever we have initialized, as and when we create an object, the values are associated with it. We have initialized in the constructor. Okay. Now let's see. I don't want to give the values directly here. I will like to give these values as parameters. So in that case, we'll pass some parameters inside this constructor. So let's say int x, then double, let's say dt, comma character, let's say cc, then string ss. Okay, so inside the constructor, instead of these direct values, we will use the variable names. So let's say dd ss. Okay, so what will happen here now? It is started showing an error. So it says that there are a few parameters we expect, but you have not put any values into it, right? So you should put the direct values here. So let's say first parameter is integer, that is x. Then next parameter is double. Then we have a character. Then we have string. Let's say okay. So guys, one small tip for you, as you are able to see this x dd x colon dd colon cc colon ss colon in gray color, this actually you don't have to write. Actually I'm using IntelliJ IDEA, so it is help. The IDE is giving me names of the variables that I have used as a parameter. As you can see, we have used the same name x dd cc and ss as a parameter. So you don't have to write this inside your constructors parameter, right? Just simply write these values and this will automatically come if you are using IntelliJ IDEA as an editor. Fine. So we still have an error as we have defined a class here with no parameters. So I'll comment this whole code and let's run this program. So the values are now 23.4 H and Amol. Okay. So we have got these values. Now, if suppose I have used the same names for parameters, same as that of the data members, right? And I'll write, let's say a is equal to a, b is equal to d, c is equal to c, str is equal to str. So now, if it happens like this, then of course there would be a confusion then which a is this a and which a is this a, right? So for that purpose you simply write the keyword this dot a. So this will refer to the current object, this will refer to this, the actual data members. this dot d, it is an actual data member. Again, this dot c, this is also my data member, and this dot str, this is my data member. So a d c str defined inside as a parameters. So this right hand side variables are the variables that are coming from the parameters. Okay, so again it is going to give me the same output like this. So we have seen a normal constructor, and the last one was a constructor with this operator. Okay, so now one more type of constructor is there. Let's suppose if I want to copy my current object into some newly created object, so we have copy constructor for them. So let's create copy constructor. Class example, we can have multiple constructor. Example object. Okay, so we will write a is equal to obj dot a semicolon, right? So I have copied each and every data member from this object to another object, right? So each and every data member's value is copied to the each and every value of another object's data member, right? So let's see what its output is. If I create another object, my class example, let's say ob1 is equal to new my class example. So actually this object is already there. I will pass this into this, right? And if I say ob1 dot display, so whatever this object is holding, the same thing will be displayed by this ob1. Okay, so same copy is created. If I let's say change something here, ob dot let's say str is equal to this is changed string. And okay, so actually I'll display this afterwards. Fine. So ob.str contains something different. So ob1.str will also have the changed value. So whatever values are held by this object in the data members will be copied exactly to another object, that is ob1. So this we called as copy constructor. Fine. So guys, this was all about the class and constructor. I hope you might have got a good knowledge about class and constructor. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, and please share this video with your friends and colleagues. And if you have still not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. And I do conduct automation testing classes with Selenium in Katras near Bharti Vidyapit. If you want to learn Selenium with me, you can contact me on this number, and you can come to my place and learn Selenium with me. If you want to buy my book, the links are given in the description. You go through that and you can buy my book online. Thank you very much.